GBC News, your trusted news channel.
Hi, hello, and welcome to Women's Voice. My name is Gloria Anderson, and we are live on GBC, Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, on Facebook, and all our social media networks. Climate change is no longer a distant environmental issue. For many women living along Ghana's coastline, it means flooded homes, disappearing livelihoods, and uncertain futures. Today, we ask whether our climate solutions are truly reaching the people who need them the most. We're going to have an interesting discussion. Already behind the stage, we started the discussion. And so I'm going to introduce our guests and then we zoom in straight into our conversation. We have, to my immediate left, Daniel Kofi Abu, Programs Specialist, Climate Change and Urban Resilience from the UN Habitat. Welcome, Daniel.
Thank you.
Then the doctor amongst us. Today we have equality on the table. 2 men and 2 women. That's very good. Dr. Juliet Saleh. I got it right? Good, thank you. Ghana Country Representative, University of Twente in the Netherlands, right? Thank you so much for coming. And then Justin Bayo, Esquire, from ActionAid. So ActionAid is sponsoring Women's Voice and has been of great support to the program. Thank you, ActionAid and Justin, for being on the program. Briefly, what's ActionAid about? What does ActionAid do? We've done a few of your programs for someone who is watching us for the first time.
ActionAid, thank you very much. ActionAid is actually a non-governmental institution that is interested in promoting social justice across board, especially for the most vulnerable people in society. We focus more on women, youth, and children, so as well as persons with disabilities. So most of our interventions are centered around climate change, resilience, women's rights, and then public services and all of that. Those issues that affect the most vulnerable people in society. Currently, we work in the most deprived places in Ghana, and that is what we focus all our attention on. Yes.
Okay. Last week, we had a discussion on our young girls, how we are able to maintain them. It was really interesting to know the kind of works you are doing in the Upper East region. So kudos to ActionAid, and thank you for coming on board. Still be on board on Women's Voice.
We will continue to partner.
That's very good. Thank you. So Monday was International Mangrove Day. It was on Sunday, and then we celebrated it on Monday. For someone who's seen it before, what is mangrove when we say mangrove? Daniel, would you want to take it?
Yes. So mangrove basically are trees that grows within marshy lands.
Okay.
In Ghana, we can identify about 4 species, basically. If you look at within the coastal belts of Ghana, we have predominantly 4 species that grows within these marshy areas. Our lagoons, mouth of our estuaries, and even some seas.
Yeah. So along the Teshi Road,
yes.
Would you describe that as a mangrove?
Yes, so we could have some remnants there.
Okay.
But basically mangrove grows along the coast, and they are very, very important for ecosystem and also safeguarding of our waters and marine species.
I was just going to ask you, why is mangrove so important that the UN would give a specific day to mark International Mangrove Day? Why is it important?
So mangrove generally, if you look at a lot of our lagoons, predominantly they serve as a breeding ground for our fish species.
Okay.
Beyond serving as breeding they also serve as a sink for excess water. And you would bear with me that recently they've been flooding along our coastlines. And so if we had a healthy mangroves, they could absorb some of the excess water that is coming from the sea along the corridors of the lagoons. And so our activities and our actions are leading to a lot of negative consequences that we face along our coast. So if you ask me the importance of mangrove is life. And that is why if you look at all the spectrum regarding carbons, which is another topic that I don't want to go there.
Into.
Carbons generated from oceans and mangroves are one of the highest quality. And so investors are often interested in mangrove-related
So we
projects.
could even make money out of it.
Of course.
Wow.
So if you go to the Cote Lagoon along that strait, there are a lot of private companies that are investing millions and millions of dollars into blue carbons because they want to generate carbons from mangroves. Just to make money and also be able to serve the communities that they operate with. So mangroves are very, very important. A lot of the mangrove trees serves as breeding ground for migratory birds. And over the coast where we operate, we have, it is estimated that over 70,000 birds annually migrate to these corridors. And they breed. Once they come, they breed, and they need mangrove trees to nest and then to breed along these corridors. So mangrove serves as life itself within the marine ecosystem.
Doug, what? Okay, yes, you can just him.
Mangroves also serve as a filtration system for water. Most of the time, the water that we have is polluted along the coast. But once you have the mangrove in there, they are able to filter it and make it clean. And of course, as you indicated, it serves as a barrier to floods. The numerous floods that we have in the coastal area, while we have, once we have mangroves in the system, they have the ability to retain the water and prevent the flooding from happening. And then, of course, why we are also celebrating the day is that having recognized the importance of mangroves, we've also realized that there's a tremendous depletion of mangroves along the coast. People are harvesting them indiscriminately without replacing. So there's the need for us to come up and restore what we have lost so that we can together gain some benefit from the mangroves and the ecosystem role that it plays for us.
Does it have any relation with climate change? Does it help in fighting climate change?
Yes.
Exactly.
It does. Interesting.
Yes, it has a role in fighting climate change, one of which I've mentioned, it prevents flooding. It is able to withstand sea level rise and prevent what they call coastal erosion. It is also able to retain the fish and crabs and oysters that we have in society. And of course, the most important thing is that it has a resilience component for the people who rely on fishing and others, because they are able to go there and earn an income for themselves. But once they do not exist, the fish, the crabs and all the rest are not available, so people have nothing to rely upon.
Doug, how do we address this issue? People are harvesting but not replacing. Does it have any relation or effect on the lives of women when we destroy our mangroves? What is the science around all these things?
Yeah, thank you very much. As he mentioned, or the both of them mentioned, mangroves can be considered as supporting life and livelihood. So women actually depend on fishing and farming in these communities. So when these mangroves are destroyed, when they're not there, then we don't have the fish, as he mentioned. So all the benefits are not there. So when we keep harvesting the mangroves, we are destroying our livelihood. And of course, our life, because it is not just a livelihood in terms of fishing and all of that, because it will also, it serves as a barrier. Therefore, we're going to have the flooding, right? So we're going to have the flooding, and it's going to displace us. Many in that community will be displaced. So we have to restore the mangroves so that we can gain the livelihood and we can also support life in those communities.
How do we do the restoration? What are the steps we need to take?
Yeah, we have to plant. We are destroying a lot of it. I can explain better as a woman.
Yes, please do.
We actually smoke fish with that. And we consider the smoked fish from those mangroves as the best.
Healthy.
As the best. It tastes good. We love it. So if we say don't harvest, it means that that taste, we will be losing it.
Yeah.
We will be missing it. So we still go there and do that. And we have to actually understand the disadvantages of harvesting that. So as we are building, we are trying to raise awareness of the importance of the mangroves. We are trying to restore so that we still have it there. But we're doing a lot of awareness raising as well.
Okay, along the coast.
Along the coast. We have 11 communities that we are actually working with in Ghana.
Which communities?
We have 7 in Anloga.
Okay.
And then 3 in Ada West and 1 in Ada East. Yeah.
So they are in Anloga, we have Atiteti, we have Wei, we have Tegui, we have Wuti, Lashibi, Agbledome, and Jita.
Okay.
That's in Anloga.
Okay.
And then in Ada East, we have Azizanya,
I know that place.
Kewuno. Then in Ada West, we have Wakumagbe.
I know that.
What's the name? Aplabanya
Aplabanya,
and Goi.
Yeah.
Yes.
And what has been the response to your interactions with them? Do they realize the importance of keeping this mangrove, especially for our women there who benefits from it?
Yes, I think they do understand, because when we go out there to meet with them, we actually ensure that the women are represented.
Okay.
Yeah. So we don't just call the people to come. We make sure that the women are represented, the elderly are there, and the youths. So we have all the sectors of the society represented, and we actually explain. We even explain in the dialect, so that
they can understand.
They can understand very well. So we have experts who talk with them and make sure they understand. We actually even do mapping, so they see those areas. Everything is hands-on for them, so they can see and understand. We don't just go and talk plenty grammar. We actually make them. They do the mapping themselves. They understand what is happening, and they actually ask us to keep coming so they can be able to save their community.
So this has been done by UN Habitat and ActionAid, and then Habitat for Humanity.
So let me explain the relationship.
Yes.
So UN Habitat is the implementing agency.
Okay.
We are responsible for implementing the project across both countries. Now, in the relationship, we do have executing entities. So the executing entities, we have component 1, which is being led by ITC.
Dr. Juliet.
Yes. Then we have component 2, which is being led by Habitat for Humanity and ActionAid.
Okay.
Then we have component 3, which is being led by United Nations Environmental Programme and Abidjan Convention. So that is how the project is structured in component. So UN Habitat is responsible for implementing the project. And we have executing entities who are executing on behalf of UN Habitat.
Okay. So far, how has been the relationship?
From
the conversation and the friendly.
Here, you can see that there is a cordial relationship.
Especially there's a woman in there.
Yes. And the most important is that each of the components are distinct but quite relevant to each of the other.
Okay.
We feed into each other. So there's no duplication of effort, we only complement. And of course, once the project came from UN Habitat, it was designed by them, they have better understanding and appreciation of the project. So we constantly rely on them for direction, or else we will miss the boat.
Okay.
And we are also collaborating with them, with University of Twente, especially in the mapping of the work, so that we are not producing competing ideas, but just relying on each other's strengths.
Okay.
I want to add to the fact that when you look at the project, if you do not have community buy-in, it will be difficult to achieve.
Yeah.
So we together have worked very closely with the communities for them to understand and appreciate, because we do believe that we would be there just for a very short while.
So there should be sustainability.
Exactly. So initially, they were skeptical in what we're coming to do, because they told us that over the years people had come and gone, they hadn't told them anything, they had not seen anything concrete on the ground.
Okay.
But due to several visits and various interventions that we have undertaken, they are beginning to have some confidence in what we are doing. And one of which is the mangrove restoration, which we have begun. If you look at the composition of the people doing it, it is a community-centered intervention. We do not bring people from outside to do any planting. It is being done by the women, supported by their men.
Okay.
So when you go there, you see them doing it and planting, because they have bought into the idea that it is theirs. They are aware that we are only helping them to restore. And I just want to use this opportunity to commend the community leaders that we are working with.
Across all the
yes, they are giving us the needed support. Sometimes we give them, we call upon them at short notice, the assembly members and the rest, and they are ready to support us to do the work. Okay. And so we are very grateful.
Let me just mention significantly to say that the project has been anchored by the Ministry of Environment.
Okay.
That is the focus ministry under which this project relies on. And we have support from Ministry of Local Government and their decentralized unit, the district assemblies. And then we do have support from the Forestry Commission, especially the Wildlife Division of the Forestry Commission. So it's significant for me to mention these government partners. So it's a joint project with support from all these government partners.
Okay. So let's look at climate change and how it's affecting women along the coastal areas. ActionAid, you have done a lot of work on that. We'll come to Juliet to look at the science of climate change and how it's working. But how is it affecting women along the coastal communities?
So basically, climate change is a sustained increase in temperature as a result of an increase in greenhouse gases, as a result of anthropogenic activities, that is human-made activities, including deforestation and the rest. Now, one of the impacts of climate change, which we all witness, is the sea level rise. There's an increase in the sea level, and therefore the sea is claiming the little land that we have. The impact of that exactly is people losing their housing, and then of course even their livelihoods as well. There's constant health issues in those communities as a result of the climate change that we are seeing. There are also other factors, flooding coming from that because of the climate change that we see. Now, when you talk about the impact on women, climate change has issues, one of which sometimes is a shortage of water. And we know those who carry the water in their house, it's women. In the end, they spend a lot of time looking for water, and then that is a detriment in their ability to earn income for themselves as well as take care of their families. And that alone is something that we need to be talking about. Of course, there are other factors, as I just said, like the health things, when it affects maternal health and neonatal health for women. And of course, sometimes it even affects the ability to access health facilities, because somewhere maybe the road has been blocked as a result of floods.
Of the floods, yes. So Daniel, what makes a community climate resilient? What makes a community?
Resilient in itself, sometimes we use it a bit loosely, because to be resilient means that you have prepared yourself for the worst case scenarios of climate change. and its consequences. But do we have such a community even in advanced world?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
And so at the minimal, let's say you are dealing with coastal erosion. What can you do such that when there is flooding along the coast, at least your house is a bit safer and can accommodate you? So one of the key or foundation of resilience is for the people, one, information. Are they aware? And that is why ActionAid is leading
This discussion.
discussions on early warning systems. Are they aware of the information, whether there will be flooding today or tomorrow? Beyond that, what nature-based infrastructure have you put in place? You are creating community-level culverts. You are doing what we call bioretention. Bioretention is simply a reservoir where excess water can be stored, in layman's language.
Okay.
Do we have those reservoirs in our communities? If you go to the Sakumono, the Ramsaya site,
Ramsar site, yeah.
it's a large bioretention area where excess flow of water used to go there. And now we have built houses a lot, so there is no any bioretention here. And along the Dansuma stretch, towards the Weja stretch, there used to be a lot of bioretentions, which serves as a sink when there's excess water from the Weja Dam through the flow, through the plains within the Densu areas. Now we don't have any basins in Ghana. And so the water will look for its own course. And that is why we have flooding. So to be resilient is to put in mechanisms that will make you prepare for the worst case scenario. And that would also safeguard certain level of your livelihood. We all know what flooding comes with. People's livelihood are distracted. And who are the most affected? Women. You look at, in Greater Accra alone, I was just looking at the statistics, female-headed household, almost 40% in Greater Accra. It means that a lot of females are leading their household.
And this is in Greater Accra.
Just in Greater Accra.
So imagine what's happening in the other communities.
Of course. And so if there's a distraction in livelihood, it affects a lot of people. Children are affected, schools are closed, and death, worst case scenario. So for us, building resilience should be a constant thing. Information updates, creating the physical space in terms of green infrastructure, nature-based infrastructure, so that our communities will become resilient. Yesterday, I was asking somebody, do we have a green park in the whole of Ghana? Where when you want to go out with your family and go and have a quiet time, you can just go there and sit. Do we have a green park in Ghana? Why are we not having it? Why are we not having it?
Maybe Doc will tell us. That is Doc's field.
Yes,
No, but
green.
Are you done?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, green parks are very important, and generally we have to, when we are doing the local plans, right, especially at the level of the district, they're supposed to earmark that. They're supposed to earmark that. Now, perhaps
So that also comes into the special planning you talked about before we started the conversation.
Exactly.
That is important that we consider all these things in the plan.
Now, when we have, remember, we have our local plans.
Yes.
And the money will never be enough to implement the plan. So what is a priority? In every district. So they'll have to prioritize the plan. And as they prioritize, that's how they implement. So perhaps the greening is at the end.
At the end.
So when the money ends somewhere, then everything ends. But they don't remember. I'm just coming from a forum now where they said we're supposed to have about 50% of our land space where we build our we don't have to put tiles or something. It has to remain natural.
Okay.
But do we do that? In Kenya, it is implemented.
Okay.
It is implemented. They'll say, oh, Kenya is very green. No, it's because that policy is
It's in place.
But here we have the policy. It doesn't mean that we don't have it. We do have. But how do we don't want to clean the gardens, just the little gardens. We don't want to do that. So we just put tiles all over the place. And then when the rain falls, it cannot be absorbed. It can't sink. So it has to go to somewhere. And then by the time we go down the hill, there is flooding. So perhaps it is time for us to implement that policy. It's not very difficult. The district assemblies are there. As they give you the plan after, they come and check. Did you respect? If you did not respect, they should be able to ask you to pay and then respect.
Respect it.
I think that way it will.
Why is, that's to you again, why is science critical for climate adaptation?
Okay, yeah. You know, with science, we can predict. With science, we can measure. We will know how to plan for tomorrow. So it is actually a tool to be able to understand what is happening tomorrow. For example, if you look at the EPA, they actually carried out some scientific study where they said we have 37% of Ghanaians are threatened around the coastline.
Coastal lines.
The World Bank will say 7,000, I think 7,000 hectares of coastline is vulnerable, is being affected. And all of that, 1.2 million Ghanaians living around that coast. By 2050, we're not sure about their livelihood. And so on. Because we do actually use science for evidence to carry out, for decision making. Yeah. So it is very important for decision making. So we need science, because we can predict the future. Otherwise, how do we know how the sea is rising?
Yes.
How do we know about the heat waves? All of that is scientific. So we very much need science to be able to take decisions and to predict the future.
That's very, and all these conversation is critically linked to the welfare of women, the protection of women and their livelihood, most especially those along the coast. I don't know if you saw this video, New Town, where these women are fishing and drying their fish stock along east. And once you pack everything away, that's they losing their livelihood. You understand? And so it's important that this discussion also focuses or pays attention to the women. We have, yes, you want to say something?
Yes, so the project we are running is quite integrated.
Okay.
Let me start with the resilience and then the livelihoods. So you see that traditionally these coastal people have been engaged in some type of livelihoods.
Yes.
Now the question arises, what happens when that livelihood is threatened? So for this project, we are coming up with alternate livelihoods for them to be able to live on and exist on that until such time that the ecosystem is conducive for them
to go back.
We are not saying, we are not asking them to completely depart from what they are used to. But in the event that there's flooding, let's say the Akosombo
the dam is open,
spilled, what happens when they cannot go to the sea or even fish? Those who rely on their lagoon. Then they should be able to do something alternative, such as farming. If with a small land, that is what's it called, irrigated farming, where they are able to earn something for themselves, persist and exist until such time that the atmosphere is okay for them to go back. That is most important for us in what we are doing.
But do they receive these options of other livelihood? Especially the women, how well do they receive the option of looking at this?
So it's not been designed in isolation. So it didn't just come from the sky. It's based on the observation of what the people are doing. So some people are already involved in some form of agriculture, alternate agriculture. But the essence is to teach them climate smart ways of dealing with improved seeds so that they are able to survive on that until such time that they are. And then those people who are completely relying on just fishing, we are able to also bring them on board. So we'll set up demonstration farms and other things to teach them how to earn an income based on that. So that is part of the plan as far as this one is concerned.
Has that been implemented yet? And what are some of the success stories you have from this?
So it's ongoing.
It's ongoing.
We are now we are executing, and then we will come to that when it comes to be done. And I just wanted to add to the scientific component. You know, the whole idea of climate change is based on science.
Yes.
It was discovered by some scientists in around 1943 who said there was an increase in temperature as a result of an increase in greenhouse gases. But eventually that idea moved from the science level into international law, where now people have been, nations have been brought on board to subscribe to it and agree. And therefore it came out with the UN FCC, that is United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, where all the countries subscribe and agree to undertake a number of mitigation and adaptation interventions. Most of the things we are describing here is because of the mitigation and adaptation interventions that they have prescribed at that level. And the most important thing is that science has never been able, it is always evolving.
Yeah.
So you cannot say you have found everything scientific about the climate change. It keeps changing. So there's even a principle that says that when science is not clear, but you are able to identify that there is an issue, a nation should not use that as a reason not to intervene.
Okay.
That because they have the science is not clear, so we were waiting for science to bring us this. So you cannot use that to refuse to act,
Okay.
To save your people, especially women and children.
We will come to, Danny, I want to find out, in selecting the communities, I don't see Greater Accra. Like there are some communities, Newtown, Accra, Newtown, I mean those coastal communities. Why were they left out? Or you think we don't face flooding around this area?
Not so. We wanted to pilot in some few selected communities.
Okay, but at least.
Subsequently, this is just a pilot.
Okay.
And so we've already started discussions to see if we can get some extra finance to expand beyond the current communities that we are in. And Ada East is part of
Ada East and Ada West is
okay.
Greater Accra.
It
yes.
is,
and,
but
and beyond that, we have a bigger project, the West African Coastal Areas, which has been implemented by the ministry, WACA.
Yeah.
And they are concentrated in a large, if you look at the spectrum of communities that WACA is targeting, it's almost along the coastline of Ghana. And the investment there is huge. So a lot of coastal communities will benefit from WACA.
Okay.
But the model that we are implementing, it's a bit different because we are looking at an integrated approach, and that is why we are using spatial planning, developing community climate action plans, the district action plans, then subsequently the transboundary plans. Then there's a nature-based solutions. We are also looking at information uptake at the ECOWAS level. How can we integrate a lot of the learning that are coming into a broader policy framework that can inform decisions on coastal management across Africa.
Okay.
And so we have institutions that are also anchoring that part of our story. And so whilst we are looking at some of these diverse and integrated approach, WACA is focused on other thematic issues that are related in some way, but a bit broader and infrastructure driven.
Okay.
So there will be sea defense wall and others. I'm not talking brief for WACA. I know with time some of the leaders can invite them to talk on what the project is doing. But of course, ours is an integrated approach and it's just pilot.
Okay.
Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire.
And Cote d'Ivoire.
Yes.
Okay. We will come back to look at so far what's been the story that has come out from these pilots. And then we'll look at policy. We talked about the Green Park.
Yeah.
What policy needs to change for us to see some form of improvement along the coastal communities, especially for women. If you just joined us, it's Women's Voice, and we are looking at climate change and coastal communities. What are we doing for women? What are we doing to protect women and vulnerable groups along the coastal areas? If you want to join the conversation, this is the time to do that. The telephone numbers are showing on your screen. You can call us and share your thoughts on what you have seen. We've also discussed mangroves and the importance of planting or keeping mangroves in our community, because mangroves are lives, and if we destroy it, that means that we are losing ourselves. So we are back on this discussion. Call us if you are along the coastal areas and share your thoughts with us. Let's look at the stories we have had, or the successes we have chalked from this work we are doing on the pilot basis. Daniel, do you care to start?
Yes, so there have been a lot of significant success.
Okay.
At the moment, we are almost through with developing the transboundary
Okay.
national strategic plan, which is looking at the coastline along some 100 kilometers corridor from Ghana to Ivory Coast, which has been anchored by Juliad and ITC. We are also looking at some nature-based infrastructure. We are going through a lot of procurement. We have commenced planting. We are aiming to do up to 200 hectares for this year.
Okay. In all the pilot areas?
Yes.
Okay.
And which for us is very significant. Justin can talk about the absolute numbers that have been planted so
Okay.
far.
Okay.
Beyond that, at the policy level, this year we'll be convening somewhere in Ivory Coast to look at some stream of information that has come through, and we are also using the city RAP methodology with ITC. We are also developing the community climate action plans for 11 communities in Ghana. So ultimately, any investor who picks any of these plans, you will know the very important and the basic things that you can do to make sure that these communities become resilient. And trust me, the entire process is very participatory because the communities are leading the implementation of these action plans with support from district assembly and of course the ministry. And so if you asked me what we have done, there are a lot of bits and pieces coming together to form an integrated bits of our achievement. Justin can talk about component 2, which ActionAid leads.
Let me just go to Juliet and look at the women. For me, my focus is the women. What are the stories that are coming out? How excited are women in participating in this project?
Okay. One thing that actually struck me was the fact that, you know, in these communities, we have women who have not actually been to school at a certain level. So, for example, we brought the maps and we said, but why? You don't bring these maps. They don't get it. So the strategy was, okay, this is the road to your community. Identify your home. So every woman could identify her home.
And that's very practical.
Yes. Then we say, identify the highest point of your community. Because when we have the flooding and it's coming, you have to go to higher levels, right? So they're able to identify their homes, their churches, you know, the markets, and those high places and all of that. So it is so very interesting. And if you look at what the feedbacks we get, they'll tell you that I've never seen a map and I could not even imagine that I could identify anything on the map. So just as Daniel said, it's quite participatory. They are able to do it themselves. We just ask them, we guide them, and they do it. And they tell us.
Ownership.
So, yes. Therefore, the plans are going to be developed by them in partnership with them. And they're going to own the project. So after we leave, they're going to be able to implement whatever they learned from it. So it's very, very important. The first thing they're asking us also about the mangroves, why do you stop us from these mangroves? So when you explain to them why, the importance of the mangroves, which they didn't really know, the other part, the importance, you know, then they start saying, oh, so it means we have to change this, which I think is also very important because they see that the project has come to actually help them. Yeah. So that's what I think we can. And they are actually leading. If you go to a community, then you see an elderly woman, she's just struggling to walk, and she has to come and sit there and participate in. It's
interesting and encouraging.
Yeah. And they actually choose them to come, and they come and they participate.
Justine?
For me, one of the greatest achievements is community participation and ownership.
Okay.
I must say that at the moment, we are even oversubscribed because of the numbers who want to participate in our interventions as against the numbers that we can accommodate. And I'm happy that it is dominated by women and youth. He spoke about the planting of the mangroves, which we have commenced. We are planning to restore, that is about 200 hectares this year. Of the majority of persons engaged in the restoration is women. They are carrying the mangrove plants. They are actually planting. What the men are doing is just to dig
the holes for the
them
women to do the planting.
But they are doing majority of the work and carrying the work forward.
We are showing on our set right now.
Yes, there they
the
are.
women actively planting.
Yes, and if they hadn't supported us, if they hadn't bought into it, I am not sure this would have happened, because the process is a very hectic one. Actually, the plants are nursed in nurseries far away. They are brought by vehicles. They are carried by them to a central point from which they then send them to the planting points. That's a whole level of work. And unless they are involved and supporting, we cannot achieve this particular, what is it called, intervention. Of course, we are also doing the early warning work intervention. The plan is to work with various institutions, GMET, and another institution, ISOCO, to ensure that we are able to get the requisite and most appropriate equipment that will be located in each of the communities, such that whenever there is a particular disaster about to happen, it will alert the people. We will test it out to see that it is working. And we will also be gathering information from these points to send to the national level, where GMET will be involved and analyzed to model for us to know what is coming next. Yes, and that is very important for us. We are also thinking of building the capacity of the communities in carbon markets. It's a new idea, but it is not totally out of their reach. The importance of this is because of the mangroves we are planting. But we have, through research, a baseline that was undertaken, we discovered that men had more knowledge or had heard about carbon market as compared to women. So the plan is to actually focus more on women and youth as part of the training, so that they have an idea of what the whole, what's it called, concept is, how you can get engaged and even earn some income from it in future if you want to go into that area. So that's one of the items we are thinking of doing.
Let me just add on to what Justin said. In broader terms, the project is looking at about 120,000 population along the corridor till Ivory Coast. Of this 120,000, 50% are supposed to be women. And so there is a deliberate action from us
that women must be involved.
Yes. So each of the intervention that Justin mentioned, usually we would prioritize women. And if you look at the poverty scenarios within these communities that we are working, the baseline that we did, women are far worse off when there are incidents of flood and all these climate-related challenges. And so our target is to make sure that the resilience and capacities of women are improved at the end of the project. So of all the 120,000 people that we think that our project can affect, we want to see women occupying more than 50%. And so there are women who are doing planting to earn some income. There are women who go out there to pick propagules. Propagules are the planting sacks of red mangroves. And these women go out there to pick them and they earn a living out of it. Exactly. And so within the value chain of planting, a lot of women are going to be employed, either as casual laborers to do the planting, to collect propagules, and to also do a bit of weed control as the seedlings. And at the end of it, as Justin said, we are also looking at working with some carbon developers who can also make sure that after the project had left, communities can earn some additional income from carbons. And that is the discussions that we are having. So women are at the center of this very project. And that's where Juliet
is where Juliet, I was just going to ask her how women, especially women along the coast, can become climate leaders. Justin said most of the men understand what is going on. But if you take the women, the understanding in those areas are minimal.
But let me explain this. It depends on the terminology we use. Let me tell you, they are aware.
Okay.
They know.
Okay.
But when you go and you start talking big grammar,
Big jargons,
climate change,
they'll just look at your face.
yeah, they will say, but what? But when you start telling them that rain that fell, you know, the flood, okay, yes, I know. You say, oh, it's because of climate change. Now they start explaining the terminologies that they understand. And they will they can
And
tell
explain
you.
with what they see on a
They
daily
will
basis.
even tell you some of the defenses that they use to you know, to manage those issues when they come up. They will explain to you their own. And they'll tell you how their culture actually intervenes when they have to do some of those things.
Yes.
You see, that's why when you asked about science, we don't use science in isolation. We have to talk with it. That's why we are insisting they have to own the project. They have to participate. They have to be at the front line of it because they will guide whatever science is. So we blend the science and their knowledge to be able to come up with the solutions that we are providing. So women actually understand. They use the language that they understand.
Yes. And they'll give you the results you need.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
That's interesting. But let's look at, we talked about green parks. There's a lot of policies, like you admitted, Juliet, already in the books. Already we have those policies. But what one thing must change to see some form of real change when it comes to climate change?
So,
and I'm going to ask everyone.
Yes, one of the most significant thing that I keep on saying every day is that Ghana is one of the countries that has signed to a lot of climate compacts. We have so many climate compacts that Ghana has signed on to. Often than not, I know as a country we are challenged, financial-wise, fragmentation, and because of the pluralistic land tenure system that we have, we are in the entire Accra, apart from the Ifua South Netherlands Park, which for me is at a sorry state. We don't have any green parks, but we do have beautiful laws. What has happened to park and gardens? Where are they? Right? And these institutions are all there. And so for me, we have to start systemic thinking. And one thing that the local government minister said today at a forum that I was just coming from, myself and Juliet were there together, is that until we recognize that if we don't do this, nobody is doing it for us. There is no way. We have nowhere to hide.
Yes,
it is our mandate. You have an assembly supervising wrongful construction of a house. Are you telling me that when the person started digging the foundation, nobody knew about it? We have roads. Today, accessibility is very poor. We have challenges with urban heat. And we are looking at even developing heat action plans and all those things. So we are constrained as a people. But government cannot do it alone. I do not like blaming government, but government has a role. They have a responsibility. Look, within our own smaller communities, how many of our communities do have parks, industrial parks, whether green parks? Everything is gone. There are some places in Accra, even during funerals, roads are blocked. We know it.
So in terms of emergency or in case of emergency, we have nowhere to gather or to converge on.
The president doesn't need to come and tell you to do the right thing. We know what is right. We have beautiful laws which are very punitive enough, but we are not. Look, it looks like everybody is just in his or her own corner doing whatever we want to do. And we cannot continue to develop a country that way. And I was fortunate to have visited Rwanda. An entire industrial enclave, let's say the entire Tema, was relocated for wetlands so that birds could have a nesting ground.
That's true.
Can we take such bold decisions in this country? I was, last 2 weeks I returned from the Netherlands. The Netherlands, Amsterdam, the city of Amsterdam sits below the sea level, right? Every area has channels. These channels serve as recreational, and almost every house has a boat. And when you look at this environment as a Ghanaian, when you go and stand by them, you want to take pictures.
And come back and show it.
But you see, Look at our Odo River. Look at the gutters there. We can make them. What has happened to systemic thinking?
Yeah.
Look, we are failing this country.
And the interesting thing is that if Kigali has done it, then Ghana can also do
We
it.
can do it. But we are failing this country.
There is nothing that Ghana can. There is nothing.
Tell me.
Where do we start from?
Someone said,
Which
made a
road?
statement.
Where do we start from?
Which road do we have greenery? Tell me in Ghana here. Which road?
Someone said in the meeting that we don't have structures. Another one said in our district assemblies, the staff, they are not qualified. I was regional director to observe decentralization in Africa for like 5 or 7 years, something like that. And I tell you, in almost all of Africa, Ghana has the best system for this local government. If we do the classification of decentralization in Africa, Ghana comes to the second category. Why? Why? Let me tell you, the only reason is because of local elections. The rest is, I would say, near perfect in our African context. You get it? When they say we have the staff. Ghana is one of the countries that even has a local government, service where we have the staff managed as a secretariat. Which other country? There are very few who can have 3 or 4. Because I was paid to use this example for Ghana to replicate, to disseminate to other countries to copy. Then how do you tell me we don't need to have 10 engineers in one local government space? We don't need that because we don't have them. But at least we have some. So at least it's a good step. So we cannot say, we don't have structures to manage. We have our region. We have did you hear that?
Yes.
Yes, we have the region, the regional council, the regional coordinating council. It covers all of Greater Accra. Please. So you cannot say we don't have structures. We do have. Ghana is doing a lot. So now if we are being negligent, it doesn't mean that we don't have.
We just have to,
it's a different story.
To be up and doing and make sure we are doing the right thing. To get it done.
We have done a lot already.
So I will just list some of those factors because maybe there's no time. First one for an inability is no enforcement of laws. The laws are there, but we don't enforce them. The second one is corruption of law enforcement people. That one is a fact. They take the money and they look elsewhere. And that is why we are not able to implement some of these interventions. The next one is finance. Sometimes we know what is right, we know what should be done, they tell you there's no money. And that is supported by lack of capacity in certain areas. So that is one. But me personally, one other factor is failure to review our laws to be consistent with the current
times.
So, for instance, we have our wetlands law 1659, LI 1659. We are harvesting mangroves indiscriminately. How well is this law able to cater for or prevent people from harvesting the mangroves? It seems to me to be defunct when it comes to that area. So there's the need for us to revise this particular law to ensure that anybody who probably harvests some mangroves either replaces it or it faces the sanctions that are deterrent enough to prevent them from ever harvesting. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We've talked, I was going to talk about global best practices. We talk about Netherlands, we talk about Rwanda. Is there any more to add that can help?
For me, look, the best practices are around us. Some of them are very close.
Yes.
Even our neighboring country, Ivory Coast, you go there, they have one of the best roads infrastructure I've seen in West Africa. And these roads are often occupied with a lot of beautiful trees and greenery. This thing is not science. It is not magic. We have engineers who can design our road to accommodate greenery. And even when these roads are designed to accommodate greenery, people step on them. They create pathways for people to pass. They will not pass there. They'll step on the green patch. And that is why we are not developing. So we need a whole systemic change. we need to start thinking right as a people. Look, it has nothing to do with political party. It has nothing to do with presidency. It is our attitude that needs to change as a people. As Justin said, corruption, people overlooking licensing and permitting regimes, all these things need to be looked at. We can't continue on this pathway. We must move.
We must move. We have to wrap up. I give ActionAid the final words because you are taking care of us.
Okay. With your kind permission, let me use this opportunity to thank UN Habitat for the cordial relationship that we've had ever since the start of this program. We are grateful, and we always look up to them as the big brother to guide us. Whenever we have challenges, we run to them for direction, because we recognize the fact that they have the capacity and capability to direct us properly. Let me also thank our sister, Dr.
You are doing my wrapping up for me. Please go ahead.
Yes. I'll just truncate it soon, for the constant support and collaboration that we've always had, the synergy that we work with. They are currently sometimes operating from our office, so we are very grateful for that. And of course, for us, we want to thank the community people.
Did you thank Daniel?
Yes.
You did? Oh, okay.
Yes.
You are the cash man.
The cash man. The communities and the various groups, women, youth, traditional rulers, the district assembly and all their officers who have given us the needed support. We are hoping that we'll be able to work with them to implement the project well, convince our donors, as he said, the Adaptation Fund, to give us what we call a subsequent project, much bigger
than
what we have, this pilot, so that we can expand to all of, especially the eastern part, Takoradi and the rest. And then we'll have a better story to tell.
Thank you, Justin.
Ghana.
Thank you, Justin, from ActionAid Ghana. On that note, we end today's edition of Women's Voice. Just note that every mangrove restored is a shield for our coastline. And if they are restored, then our women have livelihoods. They can take care of their home, take care of their children, and become better women. My name is Gloria Anderson. Thank you for watching. This program will be repeated tomorrow. See you next week.